Liverpool beat Chelsea 2-1 to firmly state their claim in the title race this season and remain top of the Premier League. Now, while a lot of players played well, Curtis Jones caught the eye of many, winning man the match with an incredible performance yet again. In this video, we're going to go through exactly how he dominated Chelsea and why he is criminally underrated by Premier League fans. So let's get into it. For a long time on this channel, I've been a big fan of Curtis Jones. I did a video about him around a year ago about how good he is, and I think under Arne Slot he has just got even better, proving he is one of the most versatile and different midfielders that England have at their disposal. Now, first of all, Curtis Jones had a great influence on the game on and off the ball. As you can see by his touch map, he was mostly operating in that left half space, but also going down the wing a lot on that left hand side. But occasionally he would pick up other spots in order to help teammates, being on the right side or in the middle of the goal, like we saw with some of the moves that resulted in scoring goals for Liverpool. Now, in this game as well, he had 56 touches, which actually was the second most across Liverpool's team other than Van Dijk, so he also had a lot of influence at getting Liverpool up the pitch in build up and being one of the main creators as well. Now, in this game, Chelsea actually surprised a lot of people, and I think they played quite well. They had a lot of control of the ball, which was very surprising. Curtis Jones was one of the big reasons why Liverpool were able to actually get a foot on the ball, especially in that first half, and be able to get Liverpool up the pitch when he was getting pressed hard in the midfield. Now, I thought his dribbling in this game was exceptional, and this is a great example of it. When he comes deeper, he picks the ball up from a close range pass on Van Dijk, and he's able to turn Caicedo completely and go past Palmer, which instantly gets Liverpool up the pitch. His progressive running was exceptional this game, and this allowed him to pass the ball through for players such as Szoboszlai or Jota, who would run in to help him but also run in behind. Now, Curtis Jones is always going to provide legs in the midfield, and he's always going to go around and helping people. Usually I've praised him in the past for how good he is off the ball, which we will get into later on, but on the ball I felt like he really did control the game with these deep runs. I also felt a lot of times he was very smart on the left hand side. He went near the byline when someone like Madueke would come back to try and defend him. Instead of taking on needless attacks where he can't really get there, he'd wait for Robertson and play off Robertson, usually wanting a 1-2 to go into the middle of the pitch. This allowed him to spread play out to the other side and switch it, but also run at some defenders that he may feel a little bit more comfortable at, having more room. Now, this ability he had the whole game to run off of the balls that were being played was brilliant, and when Nunez came on, Nunez was coming a lot deeper, not necessarily as deep as Jota was, but he was there more of a hold-up player to pass it through, which actually worked really well for Curtis Jones. He was able to work off that and get him behind and keep running forward, and he kept making so the defenders had to come across to get him in the middle, which was giving even more space to Salah, exactly where Liverpool wanted it within the final third in them attacking areas. And he was also able to do that with Gakpo, which was more primarily down his side, but also the fact he'd come across and do it with Salah was so important, and he was just so good on the ball, and that did start a lot of the time for how good he is off the ball. Now, Curtis Jones has been a player I've spoke about quite a lot of times about how good he is at being very aggressive, especially at trapping teams in when they're trying to get away from Liverpool's press. But Liverpool in this game actually had a bit more of a passive press than they usually do, so their 4 or 5 attackers kind of sat there and waited for Chelsea to try and pass it in the midfield, and then they would get them in the second phase, which actually didn't really work a lot of times because Lavia and Caicedo were turning and running with the ball, which was causing them a lot of problems at trying to get back with players that were already ahead of them. Now, Curtis Jones did his job brilliantly though. There was many times where Cole Palmer tried to break and a lot of other quick players for Chelsea, and they just couldn't get it because Curtis Jones would sit back a little bit behind his team, maybe at the time if the attack hadn't exactly gone down Curtis Jones's way, and he'd put a foot in brilliantly, stopping many tackles in the way. He also got his head into physical duels and made sure that he would be there to try and get the ball as much as possible, and he was very physical all game. And when you combine that with the brilliant power he had at running, there was a bit in the second half where he does a brilliant tackle on Vega, who came on for Chelsea. He picks the ball up, turns Cole Palmer and keeps going forward, and then wins a foul from Caicedo, taking him out, which he actually almost got through and could have passed it to Salah to create more chances. This combination not only wins the ball back for Liverpool but gets them up the pitch so quickly, which is exactly what they want in their system. And what I love about Curtis Jones is he's another one of their midfielders that primarily does look for the wingers and then will go back up to help them. Now, this is something that I think Arsenal want a lot from their midfielders and also the top teams, where when the ball is deeper and when the progression in the midfield is quite hard, with Chelsea sitting back with a lot of players, spread the ball out wide, allow the wingers to come deeper and then work off them, end up going to overlap them, which he did a few times, and give them options for through balls that they can do within the game. If they don't want to do that through ball, that is fine, because you've now created space on the inside for that winger, and having a central midfielder that has this awareness is very important. And in this game he did some really good last ditch tackles. tackles that were really important for Liverpool, but none more important than that block he does to Palmer. Palmer is going to shoot, the ball is into him. Curtis Jones actually slides in first by doing really good tracking to actually catch up to Palmer and get in between the pass, and gets, you could say, a little bit unlucky. It bounces off him, but then he still is good enough to put a leg out and stop Palmer scoring probably what is a certain goal in that situation. These things win games overall, and the fact he's got that hard work showing in defensive actions as well as attacking actions, I think really shows to the strength of Curtis Jones. And now it's great to get into the productivity that he also had in this game, because he was making these progressive runs from deep, and he was also backing up wingers on both left and right side. He was a bit of a handful to catch up with, and the first penalty he actually wins in this game is because he underlaps Salah, who cuts inside. He creates that space for him, bringing Colwill away from him, and in the end Salah shoots it, hits Jones, but he gets a touch on it, and then he gets fouled by Colwill in behind, who doesn't get the ball. Now his great off the ball movement didn't stop there. The second penalty, which ended up getting disallowed because of VAR, was still great movement from Curtis Jones. They're in a 3v3 going forward here in the attacking line at least, and he decides to actually make a different run to Gakpo or Nunez. Nunez comes deeper, gets the ball. Jones assesses the options, stops still, and ends up going into a forward line position, which Chelsea just simply don't pick up. They don't really expect that to happen. Someone being able just to walk through the middle, and it's great ingenuity, and he gets really unlucky not to get a penalty there because the goalkeeper just about gets a touch on it, but that was still great movement. And the last really major action has to be the winner that he scored, and yet again, this time he's not overlapping anyone. He's actually underlapping the winger on his left side, this time being Gakpo. He makes them late runs into midfield. Now, I've seen him make them quite a lot over his career for Liverpool. There's definitely been an incentive under Arne Slot to do it even more, because he is actually really good at timing his runs late into the box and can get on the end of these brilliant balls by Salah, which Liverpool are really good at disguising crosses and making it look like no one is there or they're offside, and they end up scoring. And he does so well to get into the middle where he's clearly onside with a brilliant timing of run, and in the end his first touch is good enough where he can set himself up and score the winner. And all game Curtis Jones was just so effective, even without the goals. I want to make that clear that the goal and the penalty win is so important. They win Liverpool the game, but without his involvement around the pitch, I don't think they would have got into these situations as well anyway. Now, some of his stats in this game are eye-watering. He made 2 shots in the game, 37 passes out of 41. He created 2 chances, obviously won a penalty, got good expected goals, but he had 4 touches in the opposition box. He made 1 out of 2 dribble, made 6 passes into the final third, 2 out of 3 accurate long balls going forward. But when it comes to defensive attributes, it is even better. 2 out of 3 tackles, 1 block, 1 interception, 5 defensive actions, 6 recoveries, and he won majority of his duels, winning 6 and losing 3, winning 6 out of 8 of his ground duels. He was such a physical threat all game, and sometimes I can understand Liverpool not playing him. They've got such a wide variety of midfielders that they can use for different ways, but Curtis Jones really works brilliantly in this game, and I think he works great against these sort of opponents where he can pick up random positions and help Liverpool on the counter, which was very important in this game. Now, I am not a Liverpool fan, but I'm a big Curtis Jones fan, and I think he definitely needs to be considered for that England team. He should play more for England. He should be in the squad, in my opinion, because I think he's been good for a while now. He's not going to be the best player in the world every single game, but this was a real standout game where he's had a lot of good games before. And finally, I'm glad that people are taking note of him, because I think all of Liverpool's midfield are good in their own ways, but I think Curtis Jones is as well, and he deservedly started this game and probably will deservedly start some more games in the future. Let me know what you guys think about this video. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and if you want to see any more of my Liverpool videos, watch my video about Chiesa I did not long ago. See you in the next one.